Welcome. In this tutorial, we'll look at ERIC. Start by going to the library homepage at library.ccny.cuny.edu. From here, click on Databases. This will show you a list of all the databases we have available. If you want to chat with a librarian, you can. Use the subject list and choose Education. This will filter and only show you databases related to education. And here you'll see the Education Resources Information Center, or ERIC. ERIC has a really simple search interface. So if you want to combine multiple terms together, you do it yourself by typing "and" between your search terms. I encourage you to choose peer-reviewed and full text available on ERIC. This will show you articles that are freely available. Once you've done a search, take a look at your results list. You can see that there are ways to filter or narrow your search on the left side of the page. You can explore clicking any of these and changing up your search. You can also add more search terms right into the box at the top. Once you find an article that you like, click on the title. This will show you the abstract and the option to download the full text. In this case, the full text also offers me a permanent URL. So if you want to save this article, that's the URL that you want to copy. You can see that the full text is here. If you go back to your results list, you can use the database filters to add to your search. So once you add something, you'll see that it shows up at the top, so the search terms that you entered and the filter that you've added. And you can see that the more filters you have, the narrower your search, the fewer results, and hopefully the more relevant they are. That's the basics of using ERIC. If you have questions or want to know about more education resources, you can go to library.ccny.cuny.edu/education, where you'll find education-specific resources and also the Ask a Librarian chat box. Thanks.